Yo, what's happening? I'm popping in to answer a few what they call them FAQs, frequently asked questions. I notated them and all that good shit. So we gotta get to it. If I could find it in this other phone. Boo, doo, 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 doo. Here we go. So first question. How would you describe your sound to someone who's never heard your music before? I would say that my music is motivational, hip hop, lyric driven rap. Um, it is esoteric. I use a lot of symbolism. I like to use metaphor and simile and tie a lot of things together. And I like to talk about what's on my mind, like what's really going on in my life. All right, second question. Ooh, what does spirituality mean to you and how does it manifest in your lyrics? Spirituality is everything. Like personally, I believe that we're spiritual beings having a human experience. I don't believe the other way around. Soul, all is the mind, mental first. Yeah. So the way it manifests in my lyrics, I'm constantly talking about my shit. Everything is laced with spiritual themes. The entire thing. Um, Even the symbolism and the label and the logo, like Ophiuchus, the 13th sign. It's the symbol represents a man. The symbol is a man holding a snake, controlling the snake. It's a snake wrangler. The snake represents your spiritual energy, your kundalini energy, and the man is controlling it. Like everything is spiritual in my shit. And next question. Can you break down the importance of storytelling in your music? Yeah. I would say it's paramount. Maybe second to the message, but the message and the story, I feel like that's synonymous. Um, just in life, I always gravitated towards music that told a story that I could relate to, that it showed the artist overcoming an adversity and help motivate me to be able to overcome whatever adversity I'm going through at that time. How do you balance themes of street life with spiritual messages in your song? That's funny. Everything is spiritual. Like I've been out there on some fuck shit and I ain't had nothing but my granny's prayers really protecting me and my mama's prayers, my aunties and shit. Like been done dirty by friends, left out to dry, blase blah. I'm not really gonna go into it because I don't want to sound like I'm glorifying it. However, it's one hand washes the other. Like if I hadn't had these experiences as an individual, my spirituality might not be that strong. What's the most personal track you've ever written and why? Ooh, there's a few. I say Phyllis Hyman. It's like the first love song I ever wrote that didn't sound and feel corny. It's an ode to my wife. I love you. Um, let's see here. Mm, this other one, but it never came out. I might put it out soon. It's talking about my relationship with my father. That's a that's a pretty deep one. My grandmother's born day. It's literally talking about how I'm feeling on that day and how much I miss her, how much I appreciate her. Um, Mama Loves Me. I did that over a J record. Yeah, my mom got offended about that one. I'm sorry, mom. Um, let's see here. How do you incorporate elements of indigenous culture into your music? Well, as an indigenous American man whose culture got stripped away from him and who's realizing that I've been practicing my indigenous culture my whole life, but just under different words, phrases, and names. again, it's everything I do. Like hip hop is indigenous American culture, at least Eastern Woodland culture. Yeah. And if you don't believe me, fuck you, respectfully. Let's see here. What message do you hope the listeners take away from your music? Um, I want listeners take away the message of resilience, not just to survive or maintain, to thrive, to be the best that you can be at all times, or to strive to do that. You know what I'm saying? To wake up and smash goals. I have a record that's about to release called Quantum Leap. And the chorus is literally I can do anything. I wanna I wanna spread a message of positivity and growth. And nigga, I'm Raps Goku for real. How has your music evolved since you first started? Ooh. Um, I write a lot more, I freestyle a lot less. I need to practice freestyling and get back to being what I was or surpass that skill. Um, aside from that, I'm more myself. I'm not chasing trends or trying to be cool. I'm being me all the way, period. And unapologetically. And I appreciate those who rock with it. What's your creative process like when you're writing a new track? It depends. So yeah, I'm gonna start with this. So if I'm collaborating with somebody and we're in the same space, or if I had an opportunity to sit with a producer and we like really crafted a beat, then we're listening to music, we're having a conversation, might be burning, they might be drinking. I don't really drink. We might even go get something to eat first. You know what I'm saying? And just talk about life and where we want to go with it, see what the vibe is. Once we figure that out, we might listen to some samples, might play some music, and just start crafting the beat. So that's how that goes. As far as another artist, like a songwriter, a rapper, a singer, um, if we already had an instrumental, we pick out the vibe, like we figure out where we're going with it, subject matter, start bouncing ideas back and forth, come up with some lyrics and some melodies. If it's another rapper and it's just like we barring this bitch out, nigga, get to it. Cause if you don't focus, you're gonna have a long day, boss. Cause I'm competitive when it comes to rapping. Like for real, I want to make it the best record, but I also want to make sure that I don't have the weak verse. Period. How do you choose the beats that best reflect themes for your songs? Spiritual, yeah. If it touched my soul and it moved me, I'm rocking with it. And well, not just that, I'm rocking with it, but if I to get straight to work to it, I gotta catch some lyrics. I know certain producers like you for you to hear the beat and do whatever you can to it and then move on to the next one, which I like. However, if it's just me and I'm in my own studio like I am right now, I catch I catch a lyric. If I don't catch it in the first like 5 minutes of listening to it, I move on to the next one. Just so I'm not wasting my time just sitting down listening to a beat. Um, let's see here. How do you see the current state of hip hop? Is it evolving in the right direction? Yes, it is. Hip hop is broadening its scale. Hip hop is also the backdrop for pop music, so that's a whole nother conversation. I love how Ninth Wonder is introducing the conversation of correctly categorizing these many different subgenres of hip hop music. Um, but yeah, I feel like it's moving in a great direction. Power to the indies. Every like people are actually able to make money independently off of this thing and create their art the way they want to. I'm always for it. And personally, I don't listen to radio. So there's that. What's your thoughts on commercial versus underground hip hop debate? The fuck is a debate, yo? Whatever floats your boat. If you love it, I like it. If you like it, I love it. Is all music doesn't belong in all spaces, and there's space for all music. You shouldn't be playing Sexy Red for little kids. You shouldn't, you know what I'm saying? That shouldn't be on the radio during the day while kids are out. It belongs in strip clubs or adult situations. You know what I mean? It's adult music for adult people. I don't really get into censoring somebody else's art. I don't want my art censored, and I'm not a hypocrite. What are your biggest influences? Who were your biggest influences when you first started rapping? Niggas I went to high school with, and niggas that older cats. Big homie Don Bricks. God bless the dead. I love you, bro. He's the nicest rapper I ever heard in my life. And he passed almost 20 years ago. He's still the nicest I ever heard. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. As far as names that y'all might know, Nas is my favorite MC. I always wanted to be as nice as Nas. Jay, always wanted to be as nice as Jay, especially without using the pen and paper. He's Sag to his birthday the day after mine. Scarface, one of my favorites of all time, one of the greatest rappers of all time. It's a lot of them. Big Pun for his ability to rap fast and bend syllables. Biggie for being able to bend words better than anybody ever. Tupac for being able to convey emotion and thought through lyrics. Beanie Siegel for the same reason. Who else? Kanye West for his artistry and love of R&B and soul music and how he uses that in his music. Let's see here. I feel like I forget. Yo, it's like it's Pete all the time, all MCs. But early days, those are probably the ones. Nas, Ye, Wu Tang, Ghostface specifically. Um, Nas, Ye, Jay, Wu, Ghostface, Face Mob, Scarface. Um, 8 Ball and MJG, UGK. Um, Lord Infamous from 3-6. I love the way he chops syllables. Yeah, triplet flow. He the daddy of that. Let's see here. How does indigenous American culture influence broader hip hop culture? I already got to that. Hip hop is Eastern Woodland Indian culture. That's exactly what the fuck it is. Period. Do you think the spiritual aspect of hip hop is underrepresented today? Yeah, but it's always been underrepresented. Even when niggas was on some like straight black power shit, it wasn't really spiritual. It was more political, and I was, space for all of that. Does spiritualism need a bigger space in hip hop? Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a lot of it, but it doesn't get highlighted. It's a lot of Muslim rappers that talk about their spirituality. Freeway and Beanie Siegel specifically, all the Wu Tang. Yeah, the greats go there. Scarface, Nas, greats go there with it. What do you think is the role of a hip hop artist in today's social climate? Um, I think the ones that get highlighted, the mainstream artists, need to shut the fuck up about a lot of things, especially politics, unless they have an educated and well articulated approach and stance on it. Um, I don't know. I don't occupy these mainstream spaces. Like I don't pay attention to that shit. I see the campaign rallies and whatnot with people with Quavo and Meg and all that. I think that's kind of crazy, Lil Jon and them. But and even on the Republican side, that shit was crazy. However, what y'all seen Bay is done. He another goat. He nasty. What y'all seen Bay is done with highlighting the torture techniques by certain agencies is really powerful. What Immortal Technique has done with building schools and advocating for underserved and disenfranchised populations is fucking amazing. It's wonderful, wonderful, and there's tons of them out there, and their audiences go to them for that information. So I don't really think I don't. I think the role is what it's supposed to be. How do you feel about blending of hip hop with other genres like trill, trap, drill, and R&B? Okay, so trap and drill, in my opinion, fall under hip hop umbrella. It's a type of rap music, and rap music falls under the hip hop umbrella. So there's that. It's all rap, yo. Do what you do. Exercise your skill over all beats. I love that shit. And R&B, absolute bro. Hip hop started from sampling R&B and soul records. Again, indigenous American, Eastern Woodland, indigenous American culture. That's where we at. Can you still be considered the voice of the oppressed, or can hip hop still be considered the voice of the oppressed, or has it lost that edge? Yeah, it still is worldwide. It's that's hip hop's genesis in its current modern day form since the 70s. That and the party, but yeah, it's yes. And how do you feel about the resurgence of conscious rap in the modern era? Excited. I'm glad it's more choices, more variety for people out here who are seeking that. And yeah, yeah. And on top of it, it's money out here to make on some capitalist shit. Well, from like on some hip hop fan shit, I'm glad of it because of dope music being created. On some I'm a rapper shit, I'm glad about it because my lane gets wider and the market share gets bigger. On That's some businessman rapper shit. On some rapidy rap, like competitive MC shit, yeah, let's collaborate. Let's really do it. Let's be competitive about these bars again. You know what I'm saying? Friendly competition for the sport of it. mm, your process. Yeah, my process. What inspires you to write, especially when it comes to deep and personal topics? Life, pain. Speaking of pain, homie Derez Deshawn made a blues classic hip hop album. Pain. Listen to it. Listen to it. That's my shit. But what inspires you to write? Life, yeah. Pain, joy, ups and downs, experiences. Um, a shooting star one night. You know what I'm saying? Any and everything inspires me to write, inspires me to rhyme. It's just something I'm not able to stop doing it, if that makes sense. How do you prepare mentally and emotionally before going in the studio? Um, I get to it. It's pretty simple. It's like I've been doing this so long that if I already have something I set out to do, then I probably already wrote it. If I haven't written it, I go in there, it's time to get focused. Turn off all distractions are off, no phones and none of that shit. We just get to it. Um, you write your lyrics down, is it more of a freestyle process for you? Both, both, depending on the day, depending on the track. Some records I freestyle one take straight through. Hooks, play some, all that shit, just in literally one take, and then I come back and dub over the hooks and all that, and maybe add some ad libs. Some records I gotta sit down and write. It just depends on how I'm feeling about the beat and how the bars are coming. But if they're coming, I'm not stopping them. What role does meditation or spiritual practice play in your creative process? Constantly meditate. I meditate every night before I go to bed. I visualize constantly. Always been a daydream. Um, it's high on the list as far as preparation. It's very, very high on the list. How do you do a writer's block if it ever comes up? Um, I don't force it. Sometimes you gotta force it, and if I got to, I do, but I really don't force it. If I'm having writer's block and the bars ain't coming for a certain record, I switch the beat. I have a whole lot of beats that I'm able to use, so I'll go through them. And then if it ain't the day to rap, I do something else productive. I might work on some visual art. I might make a beat. It just depends on how I'm feeling and where I'm at. I'll go back to records that I haven't finished mixing yet, listen to them, maybe do some edits and mix and master them. What's the most challenging part of your creative process? Getting time to do it. That's really it. Um, so I have a label. I work full time. I'm a full time father and husband. So I'm literally, unless I got something really pertinent to do, my studio time is usually after my children go to bed or when they're in school. So I don't have any distractions from them walking in. Um, but yeah, time, time. That's why when I get to it, I gotta get to it. There's no wasted time. How do you stay authentic in a genre that's often about image? Be your fucking self. Fuck them. That's really it, yo. You gotta develop a thick skin. Like I, I happen to my upbringing molded me for this. I moved around quite a bit as a child. I went to a few different elementary schools. I met a whole lot of people. I appeared very American Indian, right? But neither one of my parents fit the quote unquote stereotype. And of course, I get my American Indianness from my parents. So there's that. So having to constantly correct people about who I am and what my ethnicity is. That's that. Also, I like probably can't see it on right. I was born with 6 fingers on each hand. So different. There's there was really no other way for me than to be authentic about who I am at all times. It just doesn't work any other way. You ever revisit old tracks and feel the need to update or change them? If they've been released, that's what it is. Fuck it. I listen to old records that I released, and just to give myself a refresher on my catalog. Sometimes when I'm about to perform, I do it. When I'm making a set, seeing if there's anything old that would apply to the crowd I'm about to play for. Um, Unreleased stuff, however, well, it depends. If I've had so many different computers and hard drives and access to stems and this and that, technology is allowing getting to the point where I could probably do it now. However, nah, nah, it is what it is. I recorded it. That's what it's supposed to be. How do you handle criticism both from fans and within the industry? That used to be hard. Used to be tough to take criticism. However, not as tough, I guess, as it could be because my skill level is so high. So my issue has never been I'm not a good rapper outside of like me having stage fright my first time on stage and not being able to get it out. My issue never been that. My issue in the past had been writing hooks and trying to make shit to pander to different audiences. So like radio type, party type records when that ain't really my vibe. So yeah. What's the biggest risk you've taken musically and did it pay off? Mm, actually, music. Yes. My highest streaming record is called Smiling Faces. It's it's a cover. It's a cover with me adding some original lyrics for the bridge, and I made the bridge like a 16 bar verse, and that's my highest streaming song. I like it. I like the verse, but I don't really. Man, I'm uh, I'm neither here nor there on the record. How has your upbringing influenced your music? Yeah, yes, it has. It did. It does. I rap about my mind and what I see and how I feel and what I've experienced and memories and hopes that people are able to gain something from my experience and push this thing farther. Can you talk about a pivotal moment in your life that shaped who you are today? A lot of them. Meet my wife, date my wife. Her presence has influenced, inspired, forced me to be more cognizant of the earthly shit. Like I said, I'm a spiritual motherfucker. I I gave no fucks about material. Like I could be happy going to meditate under a tree like motherfucking Siddhartha and get on some Buddha shit for real. And I know he said that's some bullshit at the end of it all. But yeah, meeting her changed my perspective on that and has henceforth allowed me to grow and expand my business and my career exponentially. How do you balance the demands of your career with your personal life? If I didn't have an amazing partner, I wouldn't be able to. The end. If I didn't have understanding children and loved ones, I wouldn't be able to. Period. And that's that. All glory to them. Thank you. I love you. What does success mean to you at this point in your career? Uh, hmm. So I'm thinking, does that mean how do I define success? So I define success with being able to help people with the art. What success means to me is paramount. Now, man, I would still do this shit if I never made another dollar off rap music. Period. Yeah, it's my outlet, it's my therapy, and it helps people, and it pays a little bit. So has your understanding of spirituality evolved over the years? Yo, if the same person who said this, Muhammad Ali, if a man thinks the same at 50 as he does at 20, he wasted 30 years. Yes, it has changed. It's continuously changing. The more I learn, the more I realize that I don't know shit and I keep learning and I'm appreciative of all of it. What role do your ancestors play in your life and your music? I got a tattoo of my grandparents, my maternal grandparents on my chest over my heart. I feel like I guess I should elaborate on that. My ancestors play a pivotal role. They doing this. I'm doing this for them. I'm their avatar. That's it. You're the culmination of your ancestors. My next joint, I'm gonna get my paternal grandparents on the other side. Yeah, that's it. Like the ancestors are of the utmost importance, and I know that they appreciate what I'm doing because they keep blessing me. How do you navigate the complexities of representing indigenous culture in a modern music landscape? I'm not a caricature. So, I don't want shit on anybody. However, you can either be a pro wrestler or an artist. Excuse me. Well, even pro wrestlers are artists, but there's ways to represent your culture without being corny. There's also ways to overdo it. Now you become a cornball. But that's my opinion because one person's cornball is another person's mascot. You dig? What's your vision in the future, both personally and professionally? Mm, keep being blessed, keep growing, keep expanding. I got a couple moves on the way. Um, about to drop a couple singles, probably like at least two more before I drop my album. Album's finished. Working on another album. I'm like 4 or 5 records deep in that one. So professionally, keep grinding, keep working, keep releasing. We got some dope merch out. American Aborigine and all that. Um, Personally, be the best man I can be the best father, be the best husband I can be there for the people that are there for me. Show up, be there. Do you ever feel conflicted? Mm, do you ever feel conflicted between the street life you rap about and the spiritual message you're trying to convey? No, I'm not a gospel rapper. They exist. They're here for a reason. My hat's off to them. I love y'all. Do your thing. But we all occupy different spaces. And you don't save the world by only preaching to the church. You gotta go out there with the people and talk to the people about what they really dealing with and tell them that, yeah, I know you're dealing with this, but you ain't gotta deal with this all the time. How do you approach the topic of pain and suffering in your music? I feel like I just answered this. Who the fuck made this list? How do you approach? All right, yeah, I don't overdo it though. I'm more interested in the progress made after the pain has been processed. When you focus on the pain, you create you create a feedback loop of pain and just keep bringing it to you. It's a toroidal field. But when you understand what it was, where it came from, and you're working through it and defeating it, now you're making progress. You're crushing that piece of coal into a diamond. You're literally performing alchemy. You're making the lead into the gold. You were the lead and the gold. So I focus more on the light at the end of the tunnel than the darkness in the tunnel. Have you faced any pushback or criticism for your focus on indigenous culture in your music? Yes and no. Some people be like, "You don't want to be black," and I'm like, "My hat's black." You know what I mean? I love my people. I love my culture. I love myself. But I tell people all the time, yo, you need to study your ancestry as an Eastern Woodland Indian and figure out if that applies to you. And if it does, be yourself. Either way, be yourself. But yeah, I get pushed back from some Plains Indians and some people out west. But I look like this, so I don't really get much pushback, honestly. And that's the fucked up part for real. Cause I can go on the res and be chilling, but my parents wouldn't be welcome the same way I'm welcome. And I come directly from them. So yeah. How do you think your music can impact future generations of hip hop artists? So I got a little skin in the game. And I seen youngins come up. I ain't gonna say up under me, but I seen youngins come up that, you know what I'm saying? I knew them before they was doing it. Now I know them and they doing it. And I see what my influence has done. And I'm proud of it. I'm glad to see these young artists or these newer artists, less experienced artists, I guess, be authentically themselves and create art from their souls and really do it from a good place, not just a place to try to make a quick dollar. What's the most misunderstood aspect of your music or persona? Well, that's kind of dead. See, back when I was Charlie Hustle, I was speaking. I felt like I was playing a character, and I didn't like it. And I wanted to talk about more spirituality and just, you know, get in my esoteric bag in my music. However, it didn't feel right because of the name. So Charlie Hustle became Hustle to God because we God body and who is the original man, right? So Hustle to God just became Cameron Galloway, who I always was. I just used my real name or part of my real name. And yeah, I'm me. So there's no character, ain't no persona. I'm fucking me. Have you ever felt like you've had to compromise your artistic vision for the sake of success? Early on, I did a lot. Um, but I didn't to the extent that I probably could have to have made a whole lot of money. I've been offered contracts from, let's just say, all the big record labels have offered me a contract. A lot of the bigger indies have offered me a contract, whether it's to be an artist or to be a writer, or to be an artist and then to make me into a writer, because that's what they really like to do a lot of times. Didn't take any of them. Straight indie. Yeah. So the biggest I've I've sacrificed I've sacrificed fiscal success or delayed fiscal success because of my artistic integrity. How you reconcile the materialistic aspects of hip hop with your spiritual beliefs? There's space for everything. That's one thing my wife has shown me. There's space for everything. And some of this shit is necessary to be human. So while you're human, kind of got to have some of this shit. And I like nice shit on top of that. So yeah. What's the legacy of hope? What's the legacy you hope to leave behind in hip hop? God damn, they talking to me like I'm a 60-year-old man or something. I think I've been saying it's like the common theme of this thing. To let people know, like, bro, when there's a will, there's a way. I can do anything. You can do anything. Straight up and down. You can do anything you put your mind to. You just got to work for it. How do you stay inspired? How do you stay inspired in a genre that's constantly evolving and changing? I'm competitive. So when I hear people rap, my first thought is, if I like it, my first thought is that shit's nice. And then my second thought is, I could do that better. And it's always a flow thing, not necessarily a subject matter thing, because there's certain shit I'm just not gonna glorify my rhymes. However, when it comes to like raps and putting words together and bars and structure and flows and cadences, that's all. I'm competitive. My thought is always, I could do that better. But I'm also inspired. Like, I love to see dope artists create dope art. I love to go to rap shows and just be a fly on the wall. My friends are performing. Here's a funny thing. So I'm an MC, right? And I have rapper friends. So as an MC with rapper friends, a lot of times they have shows and they'll invite me. And I say 50-50. They'll ask me if I want to perform. And then sometimes I go to these shows depending on where they are. And I might actually know people who are like, running the show. And they ask me if I want to perform. So sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I love going to shows. I love seeing. I'm an MC and I'm a rap fan before I'm an MC. I just like to run. I like to run my mouth before I knew what rap was. Then I became a fan of rap and hip hop and a practitioner of the culture of hip hop. Then I was a DJ before I was a rapper. I was a graffiti artist before I was a DJ. You see what I'm saying? That's why my cover art be so dope and it has a certain look to it, because it's what I do. But I just like to sit back and watch motherfuckers rap. I really do. And sometimes I like to do that more than I like to do it myself. It just depends on the day. And I think this is the last one. If you could change one thing about the hip hop industry, what would it be and why? Woo! Fuck one thing. There's a few things I would change about the hip hop industry. I would take everybody that doesn't create this shit out of it. Period. As far as being able to own it and control it. The people who don't have reverence and appreciation and respect for my culture, I would get them the fuck up out of here. All of them. Every single last one of them. And I know I'm on Lyor Cohen's YouTube. Yeah, I'm talking to you, motherfucker. That'd be the first thing. I would We'll have an artist union, songwriters union, producers union. Yeah, it's a lot of aging artists that got screwed financially that aren't able to pay for like medical expenses and things like that. They need to be taken care of because they paved the way for us. Um, but yeah, I would take the leeches and the vultures out of the culture, straight up and down, and all the backstabbers and all the turncoats. I would elevate and show respect and reverence to all the real ones who wanted to keep the culture in the hands of the people who created it and allow us to build and maintain wealth based off of our creations. Yeah, that would be the one. Let's see if there's anything else on this list that I ain't really get through. And said hip hop, scribe song, boom, 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 whoop de wop, de wop, de whoop. Yeah, that's it. So a few more things about me, right? I'm an MC. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a son, I'm a brother. I practice hip hop. I indulge in hip hop. I practice what I practice and I come from what a lot of people would call African American culture, but I call Eastern Woodland Indian culture because when you start doing the math maths to be that niggas is Indians. So there's that. So I practice my culture. I hold my culture high. I love my people. I love myself. I love my babies. And I want them to love themselves the way that I love them. Um, yeah, I hold high reverence for my people, my ancestors, and my culture. I know who I am. I did the knowledge of that, and I'm old enough to be able to articulate it in a reasonable manner without getting upset about people who don't believe or who aren't as researched as I am, especially people from other cultures. Their opinions mean nothing to me, respectfully. Um, so I go hard, I bang hard for my people. Like I'm loyal to the soil, 10 toes, and all that. And the campaign is still free to land. You know what I mean? Land back. That's it. Go the fuck home, pay back rent, and let the creators own their creations. You know what I'm saying? But that's it. It's Cameron Galloway, and I'm out. Peace.